Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse follows both Gwen Stacy, Haley Stenfield, and Miles Morales, Shemik Moore. Both are struggling to live two separate lives. When a different variant of Vulture shows up in Gwen's universe, Gwen is accepted into the Spider Society by Miguel O'Hara, Oscar Isaac, and Spider-Woman, Issa Rae. Her mission is to track the Spot, Jason Schwartzman, and prevent further catastrophe. However, being in the same universe as Miles, Gwen decides to catch up with her friend. Not being attentive to her mission, the Spot slowly grows into power, sending them into chaos. Trying to stop the Spot, Miles reluctantly follows Gwen through a portal, where he hopes to join the Spider Society, only to learn his role in all of it. Not accepting his fate, he tries to go home to prevent his father's death. This movie is a beautifully constructed narrative that succeeds in both entertaining us and providing a well-constructed structure that is appealing to see. It has humor, it has drama, and it has action, and you enjoy every second of it. First and foremost, the obvious part of this movie is the animation. It carries over the charm the first movie had, and doubled it. There were various different types of animation styles, depending on which universe we were in, the emotion and action that is occurring. Not only was it beautiful, the stylistic choices were very interesting. For example, when Gwen revealed her identity to her father, as both their emotions start to unravel, the background begins to fall apart, getting smeared like their emotions. They aren't feeling just one thing, it's all mixed up and blending together, like the background. Or I should say the background is blending in like their emotions. It isn't until they are interrupted that the background goes back to normal. Although this is a fascinating and intriguing choice, it can be a double-edged sword. With so many different variations and changes, it can become convoluted. At times it did feel that way, but in no way was it confusing or took me out of the moment. The story continues where we left off. We believe all is well, but are proven wrong during the exposition of the movie. Although the problem with Kingpin's collider is resolved, Miles and Gwen still struggle from living two different lives. Gwen worries about making a friend on account of her Peter Parker situation. She wants to join a band, but feels like she cannot. And Miles struggles with balance and identity. Both of them will go on this adventure and learn how to deal with their problems. Although it isn't fully resolved yet, we do get hints of them. In the end, Gwen creates her own band of friends, where Miles is trying to fight his role in everything, being deemed the original anomaly. Yet he still chooses to write his own path, instead of doing what is written for him. As for characters, each character has their own identity, their own aesthetic, and mannerisms that make them unique. You follow this ensemble along and enjoy their company. You empathize with Miles, as he struggles through the journey, and grieve with him when he learns the truth about an oncoming canon event. And this goes for the other characters as well. For example, we understand where Miguel is coming from, because not only do we see what happened, but we can feel the pain he's going through, and therefore understand his actions. Though they might not seem like the best choice, we understand that it's a hard choice they have to live by. We understand Gwen's fear of losing a close friend and making mistakes. We empathize with her as she talks to her father, wanting to bond with him instead of all the secrecy and fear that her father might not accept her for being Spider-Woman. In short, each character was three-dimensional and their actions made sense. Lastly, I want to talk about the antagonist. Being a counter-image to Miles, the Spot also struggles with that balance and identity. Now that he has become the Spot, his life has drastically changed. His situation made him hate Spider-Man for causing his fate. This made him feel empty inside, like he has holes inside of him. Having tried fixing the holes, he realizes it won't solve anything. He understands now that the only solution is more holes, whereas Miles feels that the solution is to fill up those holes. In short, we're talking about problems. Miles tries to fix those problems, and the Spot utilizes his problems to change his outcome. He believes that his problems define who he is, where Miles believes that the solution and actions define who he is. The same type of mentality, only different motives and actions. Not to mention the threat he becomes makes him a pretty good antagonist. I also do like his wit, even in his predicament. Before I wrap this up, I do want to mention certain tiny things about the movie, so bear with me. Gwen's witty confrontation between Vulture felt like it kinda dragged, which was mainly due to every sentence she blurted out being witty. At times, I often wondered what they were webbing to swing. It was pretty funny to see them swinging from midair. Overall, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was a very entertaining movie that takes you on a journey that is amusing visually in both animation and story. I felt that everything was explained nicely and adequately, that it did not feel forced or out of place. There were many humorous scenes that made it even more enjoyable, and the stakes were pretty high, leaving you with great anticipation for the next movie.